Cool. So warm welcome to, as I was saying, the 35th Microsolidarity Network call. Woohoo! It's lovely to see familiar faces and new faces. And I'm here with Michal, for those of you who just joined. And we are hosting the session today about the latest version of the card deck. It's in its final phase. I think they do one more edit after this. And then we hope to whisk it off to the printer and have it ready by sort of late summer. But we thought it would be really great to get some input in the meantime. So that's what our call is about today. It's like share with you what the card deck is like, and you can engage with it a bit and give us some feedback. It's super handy. Yeah, this call generally is for anyone who wants to get a bit of a taste of the Microsolidarity vibe, engage with some of the principles and practice in the space together, and also just meet the others and hear what people are up to. So welcome. And what else? I was thinking maybe, Michal, do you want to say something about yourself for anyone who doesn't know you yet?
Hello, my name is Michal. I was one of the creators of the deck. And I don't know, I'm a wizard. I'm now in Azores. I've been part of playing with Microsolidarity for quite some time in the very early days when it was still like a little essay online. And yeah, it's super fun to turn this into a deck of cards. It's one of my jams, part of my land life, making cards. So yeah, let's play.
Awesome. Thanks, Michal. Cool. Let's jump into a quick check-in before we dive into any sort of further practice and play. So let's be in groups of 3. I'll join one as well, and let's have 3 minutes each. I'll prompt you with a simple question in case you want some kind of direction. How are you doing today, and what drew you to being on the call? Yeah, feel free to diverge as much as you wish and feel comfortable to. But yeah, there we go. Michal, are you ready with the breakouts? Cool. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that was nice. I really enjoyed landing a bit with a few of you. I'm going to hand over to Michal now. I just removed love goggles, but I'm sure still seeing through the eyes of love. There you go.
The OG love goggles. Nice. All right. So, my dears, today we're gonna be exploring some of our cards. And I guess the idea is that I'm gonna maybe share my screen. And from there, I can show you a little bit about how this works. Boom. Can you see my screen? Perfect.
It's
So welcome to the
small. It's a wee bit small. I can see the screen, but slightly
that's
small.
on purpose.
Okay.
You're not yet allowed to see all the secrets. I'm gonna lead you into them gradually. So boom, welcome to all these cards. You see how many cards we've made? It was a bit insane, but now it's all about getting less cards. And it's nice to see that some of our creators are actually here. So basically, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna tell you basically what is this deck and how it works, and then we're gonna dump you into a play mode, one of the couple of ways to play this deck, and you're gonna go into breakout rooms and you're gonna get a chance to interact with the deck, how it's kind of sort of meant to be played with. Of course, there's a limitation of using a digital space. It's not, very card friendly. So bear with me as that is happening. But yeah, we thought that the objective of today is to get your feedback, and yeah, if there's some final thingies we can still implement before we finish it off next week. So I'm just gonna tell you the instructions. You know what? Just like yours go simple. I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna beat around the bush for 25 minutes. So basically, there's a deck of cards, and this deck of cards is designed for you to practice Microsolidarity. And there's different types of cards in your deck. They're color coded. That's still work in progress. So when you're gonna be engaging, the colors are not so clear, but bear with us. In general, there's those categories. So there's action cards, and guess what? They get you to do stuff because they're all about action. So you're going to be doing stuff with other people. There's the stack cards, and stack cards, basically the whole deck is organized into stacks. So you can think of them as kind of groups of cards designed for a specific context. So there's different contexts designed for different interactions, different kinds of things to use their cards. And stack cards basically introduce each stack and tells you how to use it, which cards belong there, and what to do with your stack. So it's kind of like you can think about it as context. What is the context I can use my Microsolidarity deck for? Then there's the info cards. Info cards feed you essential concepts. It's basically study mode. There's the wisdom cards. We also call them meme cards. They're the golden nuggets, you know, the good stuff. Sometimes deep and philosophical, sometimes more playful and funky. But there's always depth in the end of the sentence that you might find. And there's also going to be blank cards, because we want you to participate in creating the cards. So we don't see it as like we give you the full prescription, but rather we're actually just enabling you to start creating your own cards. So is this clear so far? Different types of cards in the deck. They serve different purposes. I see lots of nodding. That's great. I'm very happy. We passed the test of the first instruction card. Okay,
That's a relief.
are you ready? So now this is my favorite part. So the play time, it's 5 minutes to 5 years. You choose. So it's quite a varied length of play. And you have a different modes of playing the game. So the mode that we're going to play today is the expedition mode. So you choose a stack that fits your current needs, and you play through all the cards. There's a few different stacks. I'm going to introduce them in a moment. But that's basically the kind of the most basic way of playing. Then you also have a connection game. So pick action cards that you want to play with your group. You can play 1, you can play 3, whatever. So you can kind of think of it as a, you know, you're going to host an event, or maybe you go just hang out with your friends. You play some action cards. They give you nice things to do with your friends or with people that you just met. There's the divination for all of one's more on the spiritual spectrum. You can play your cards, put them face down on your table, ideally on your altar. Maybe you want to light a candle, and you can choose the card at random, or you might say at the whim of your intuition, and may it serve you well. Who knows? It's the divine in you channeling the wisdom of Microsolidarity. There's also the learning mode. Learning mode is basically grab the info cards, nice blue info cards. They have all the good stuff. There's concepts there. You can engage with them kind of like flashcards, like what are the essential pieces of information in Microsolidarity? Grab these cards and just study through them and see what comes up. Maybe they're going to give you inspiration to write an article, or maybe just improve how you relate with groups, or something else. Maybe something else come out of it. And of course, there's the DIY mode. So this is for you to play with the deck. This is what the blanks are for. So you can add your own stacks. Why not? Create your new context that you might want to use the deck for. You can add actions, or maybe info cards that you feel that are missing, or maybe new action cards. Anything that you really wish. The DIY cards, the blank cards are up for you. Is this clear so far? The 5 different types to engage with the game? Wow, I still see nods, and they're not even such confusing nods. I'm very happy. Good to hear. So this is basically the kind of the main part of the instructions, right? Like our idea is to get you quickly into play and not just like give you a manual of 24 pages. Of course, there's going to be like references, resources, extra stuff, but that's, we're not going to dive into that right now. So, are you ready to be introduced to different stacks? Yeah, that's the moment we've all been waiting for. So far, we thought of a couple of them, and these are actually now illustrated. This is kind of the style that we're going for. They're made by Sylvia, all handmade by humans, not by AI. So we have the few different stacks, and what we're gonna play soon is you're gonna get a chance to choose which stack you want to play, and we're gonna put you into breakout rooms based on your preference. and well, preference, and also hopefully having a few people in the room, because I think if we just divide into 6, 7 stacks, then it might be not ideal, but we'll trust that we'll coordinate ourselves perfectly. So those are the stacks. We have the intro to Microsolidarity stack. So this is basically, hey, you want to introduce Microsolidarity to some people, how to do that, how to actually start engaging with it. And it's really based on action. So yeah, there's some info cards, but also there's action cards, right? Everything is practical. Next one, let's start the crew. Of course, as you probably all are aware, crews are where the magic happens. So we give you the whole guided, playful opportunity to start your own crew. There is a whole stack focused on developing your hosting capacity. So whether you are already a host of congregations and events of thousands of people, or you're just starting with your first dinner party with 3 friends, this is the stack for you. It's going to guide you through the journey of how you can increase your hosting capacity and just become a better host. There's the secret vibe agent. This is a special mission deck where you are at an event, which is maybe not your event. And those are some kind of moves that you can deploy that you can make the event better for everybody. So those little subtle maneuvers that not as a host, you can deploy them and increase the event. Then there's the kind of high commitment, high reward stack, which is the co-living one. And this is basically, hey, maybe you live with other humans, or you're going to live for a few months. This is the stack for that. Like, how can you make the co-living time together much, much better, much more kind of aligned and microsolidarity based? Then there's the whole stack around belonging. Now what? So like, cool, you have the belonging, success, well done. But what comes after? Like, what can you do with that? Like, how can you spend the belonging that you earned? And then the final stack, social experiments, just like fun stuff that you can do to go deeper, actions, mini games. This one is a slightly different in a sense that it's not exactly a stack. It's a different stack than the previous one in the sense that it's not like super kind of organized. It's more like just collection of different things that you can do and play with. So it's kind of more like a collection of things. And I guess one thing to add to kind of wrap it up is that the cards can belong in different stacks, and that's intentional. Like we thought that more cards will belong in different stacks. It's not so many, but our intention is that, hey, like you might actually find that there's some cards in different stacks that really belong for me here. And this is also why this whole idea of DIYing the deck the way how you would feel like. So I think this is basically it for the introduction. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. And Justin, is there anything that I missed from the kind of info stuff that you would like to add?
I think that was pretty succinct and clear. I don't have much to add, except I would, to introduce how this is going to look on a Miro board and engage. But I think that was great. Yeah.
Perfect. Alrighty. Any questions so far? Just like clarifying questions, because the next step we're gonna actually hop into play.
You can maybe just quickly say something more about the stack cards. Like when you say stack, so you've got these cards that can belong to different groups, but how do they stack? Or yeah, just curious about that.
Gotcha. So the stack is just basically an arbitrary name we chose for a group of cards. So there is a group of cards that is designed to serve a certain context, like for example, co-living, and we call that a stack. And the stack card is basically a card that is kind of the instruction for the stack. So it tells you, oh, this is a co-living stack, and to play this stack, you are required to grab a few cards from your deck, because it's a deck of cards, right? It's not a book, so you can shuffle them and they can be completely at random. And then it tells you some little tips and tricks. Depends on the stack. They all come with slight different things. The co-living one, it's like an obviously different because it maybe last months, right? And the secret vibe agent, it's just the gathering base. So it's some kind of different thing. So yeah, the stack cards is basically, think of them as the cover of the group, and the group is called basically a stack. Does this answer your question?
Thanks. Yeah, that's super clear. Thank you.
Perfect. All right.
So
That-
not a question, but
Uh-huh.
I need to leave in some minutes now. So when you create the breakout rooms, don't count me in. Sadly, I'm leaving, and wish you so much fun.
Thanks, Vita. Great that you could
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Mhm. Cool. Yeah, a few more people
Bye-bye.
coming in, so that's also nice. Cool. Michal, shall I introduce how we'll go into the breakout rooms and stuff? Yeah?
I think that's perfect.
Cool.
And hey, Martin, you just arrived, so you'll have to roll with the unknown.
I'll try to roll with it as best as I can. Thank you for letting me join this late. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Glad you're here. With general topic is the Microsolidarity card deck. Let's see. I'm gonna first just show you all the Miro board, and actually, I just want to give you the link so that I can be sure you can all access it and edit it. So let's put that in the chat. And if you can't access it, just write a message, and then I'll know. In the meantime, I'm going to share my screen and show you what it looks like. Where's the button? Okay. So at the top, you'll find the cards that Michal just introduced. It's like the, in particular, the 5 card categories and the 5 different play modes that you can choose from. We're going to go with the expedition mode. And then underneath, you will find each of the stacks. Oh yeah, I haven't locked the images here. So if I might manage to do that as you go into breakout rooms, but for now, just make sure you don't move things or delete things. So you'll see there's the introduction to Microsolidarity stack, crewing, grow your hosting capacity, secret vibe agent, co-living, belonging now what, and the social experiments for going deeper. And next to each one is a little empty feedback station for you and your breakout group to fill in. And we invited you to share, what do you think the strengths are of this deck, of this stack? What do you think the weaknesses are? Where is there room for improvement? And do you have any suggestions? So you can feel free to just grab a sticky from the sticky stack here and like populate those columns as you go through your discussion. You might want to have a scribe if that helps you to feel focused. You're not all writing the same sticky note at once. Yeah, and then so the idea is you'll choose a stack, and together you might take turns just reading out each of the cards. So one person at a time, one person read the intro. This is the first card is always the sort of introduction to the stack and how you can play the stack. So it will say how much time. The cards, just ignore the actual numbers. We haven't put numbers on the cards yet, but you know that the cards you're supposed to use for the stack are the ones that are to the right of the first card here. And there's a little intro, how it works, and what your role as a facilitator might look like. The cards then proceed to the right. You'll see the cards obviously have 2 sides. So the one on the top row is one side, and the one on the bottom row is the other side of the card. So it has a very beautiful picture that Sylvia has created here, this introduction to Microsolidarity stack intro card here. So the first one, yeah, you can just continue reading through them. Once you've read through them, have a discussion of like, what do you think works well about this one, what's weaknesses and what are suggestions. And I'm also happy if the conversation just flows to something else about what inspires you about this stack, or where would you use it? Would it be useful in your context? Let it flow. You've got 25 minutes, so use that how you like. What else do I want to say? Some of them are green, which you can kind of ignore. Is just because that card comes up multiple times in different stacks, and we didn't want Sylvia to have to draw a different image for each time it comes up. So it's just to make sure that we didn't make different image cards for each one. Michal, is there anything else you think people should know?
Just for now, you can mostly ignore the design. Like most images, as you can see, are missing and they're not there. And some of them are just like obvious placeholders. So just, ignore this part. We've done kind of copy paste from our work in progress file. But yeah, just to name it and make it obvious.
Yeah. There's a few notes I've put there, for example, in the first stack, it's like, maybe these belong in this stack too. So it's not complete. And if you want to put extra sticky notes around and just be like, yeah, I think so, feel free to just put them around. That's why I've created a lot of space around each stack, so you can populate it with sticky notes wherever you like as well. Okay, so it'd be really great if we had at least 3 people in each room. So that means not all stacks are going to get feedback today, which is fine. If you're listening in on the recording, I'll put the link to the Miro board here. And if you're watching it within the next few days, feel free to add your feedback asynchronously. Or after this call, if you're here now and you want to go through the other stacks and still give your feedback, the board will still be there. It'd be super handy to hear anything that you think. But yeah, let's try and get you all into breakout rooms for at least a few stacks. And if you open the breakout rooms button, I'm going to do this where you can choose which breakout room you go to. So we're not going to automatically put you in them. So at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you should see a breakout rooms button. It might be in the More section, which is like a round circle with 3 dots in it. You click on More, you should see a button that says Breakout Rooms. Does anyone? Okay, I see some shaking of heads. Does anyone manage to find it in a way that looks different to how I'm describing it? Maybe some people's computers.
I think they need to be opened still.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, thanks, James. That is the limitation. How about now? Are they showing up? Click on, still not? How odd. A second. Okay, well, I could do this manually because we're not too many people. I would just love to, if you want to type in the chat box, which room do you want to go, which stack do you want to explore? And then I will add you to each one. And it'd be wonderful if at least 3 people wanted to do the secret vibe agent one, because we were feeling the least sure about that one. So I see, that's
Oh, we already have few people.
That's really good. Who is that? Andre and can't see things. Okay. Corey. And Connor, vibe agent. Uta, grow your hosting capacity. If you already know, feel free to go ahead and look at the board. You can start reading them already. And James, hosting capacity. Martin, you can do belong now. Okay, cool. That's great. Martin. Introduction. Okay, who am I missing? There's hosting capacity or secret vibe agent. Great. We got Franca with hosting capacity.
Just to check on how we're doing this, I heard something about like playing or trying to like play or play test through the stacks, but is there a mode of like doing that? Or are we going to be, I feel like we'd very much slip into like meta level and be meta the whole time, and we're just looking at things and commenting on things. And is there a difference or a distinction that you're really trying to shoot for?
Yeah, Michal, do you want to say something while I just figure out the room?
I mean, the invitation is hopefully the stacks will already put you in. I mean, the limitation basically is that we're in a mirror board. No, it will be very different with actual cards. But working with that, yes, like the cards are actionable. You have actions there that you can play, and you can play with them. But we are also looking for feedback. So it's kind of the meta HUD stays on, and if you find a desire to add some play around a specific cards, please do that by all means. So feel free to like play one of the cards that we've introduced, or share some kind of reflections that come up based on those cards. But yeah, it's more of a feedbacking session. So the meta HUD is going to be hard for us to take off.
Well, okay, I've got a good group of 4 in Secret Vibe Agent, 3 in hosting capacity. I've got Martin in Belong Now What and Sinus in intro. Martin and Sinus, do you want to like choose one together? That would be handy to have two of you in the same one.
I can come to you if you want
We
to.
do both.
Yeah. Sinus, do you want to move to Belong Now What? I think that would be.
Yeah,
You can always
sure.
come back to the board and do it asynchronously on time. Okay, I'll put both of you in Belong Now What. I think that's something pretty good. Okay. All right. Any other questions before we dive in? No? Okay, great. And then I'm going to open the rooms and we'll come back and see what we came up with after 25 minutes. Have fun. Welcome back, everybody. Okay. I've just been looking at the board with Michal, and it's really cool to see some useful questions and where there's need for clarification, and also really great suggestions too. I wondered if it would be, actually, I think it'd be really nice to hear a little bit from each group about how was it? How was your experience of going through the stack you were looking at, just to get a bit of a vocalized sense of what happened in your groups. Anyone want to share? You can unmute yourself and just speak into the space. Franco, I love your glasses.
Well,
let's hear
in
first. Oh yeah, James, cool. Go ahead.
our grow your hosting capacity room, I would describe our main activity as reading. And so a lot of reading, a lot of shared silence, occasional kind of commentary of what was sticking out to us. But yeah, pretty short time overall. So we're mainly kind of reading and reacting at, first layer,
Gotcha.
first takes on things. And one thing I will notice as far as synthesis goes is kind of coming to understand more of, what's the context that this stack is designed for? For example, I noticed, it seems to be more designed for people who maybe are getting together and they don't know each other, but they're having a conversation each about the next event that they want to host individually. And it seemed less oriented toward a team of people that are putting on an event together or doing something, looking to like sort of design their thing together. So that's just like, okay, that's both like coming back and rereading it with that context more understood, helps it kind of make more sense. But also raises the question of like, well, what if you do have a team that's like working together, and how much does that shift the context of the stack design?
Yeah, that makes sense. I can totally get where you're coming from there. Very useful. Yeah. Thanks, James. Anyone else from that group want to share something about what they observed?
I can just say personally, I felt really uplifted because so much of it resonated from those last few years in Microsolidarity. I was like, I know this, and I've seen this in action and that. And I felt pulled along through the cards in terms of this makes total sense. This is exactly how it should be done because that's the only way I know how to do it, which is through Microsolidarity. So yeah, it was a really good experience. I'm just seeing it in action there.
Awesome. Thanks, Uta. That's great to hear. Yeah. I guess people might be coming at this from being experienced practitioners and also people who are new. So it's also good to hear as someone who has experience that it's like, oh yeah, I recognize this and now it's written down. Yeah, cool. All right. How about the secret vibe agent at a gathering? Any comments from there?
We had a great time vibing together. We even tried to sort of secretly throw in the vibes without each other knowing it, fooling the agents. Yeah, there was some really good discussion about things like we really like a group is ruled by the conversations it can't have. And so like getting at like what conversation can we not have or feel isn't right, one to have in this context. And then reverse, Corey, he's not with us anymore. He suggested a nice reverse question, which is like, what conversation can only we have as a group? Like, where are we uniquely placed to have this conversation? It's kind of like, bringing our identity and like why we're motivated to be here together.
Nice.
And so I thought it was a really good question. And then Franca had this idea of like reading the temperature of the room. So maybe just with hand gestures, like how engaged are you or not? Andre mentioned integrating things like authentic relating game type activities. So not necessarily the activity like of playing the games themselves, but maybe there are certain moves that can be done from that, or like how to have interesting conversations from the authentic relating space. So there could be things learned from there. Yeah, those are the things that come to mind for me. I'm sure.
Yeah, what I also found, thanks, Conrad. Yeah, what I found super interesting also was this question of where do we reach our limits with it? Like, when can it overstep into the host's territory? How can we, where's the limit? And even making that conversation transparent with the host. It's possible if they're not too busy, hosting at that time, but just saying, or even just checking like, hey, is this okay?
Yeah.
And we also were really, all of us kind of felt that we would love, even in this card deck, I don't know if there are, but even more cards with practical suggestions. I mean, you gave a few things like, okay, music, change the music, rearrange the furniture, that kind of thing. Any other thoughts? Any other things that could already give us a little bit more of a hold on our inspiration, something to jog our inspiration a bit more. So yeah, we're kind of feeling a need for more,
some more practical suggestions. Yeah. Very nice. Great. It's nice to see that I feel like those meme cards you said, like you talked about the conversation only you can have or you can't have, that they really created some conversation already in your group. That's kind of very much the intention of these cards, where even maybe in your mind or when you're together with people, that you start, can lead some deep conversations about the group itself. Very good, very helpful. Thank you all. Let's take a couple of minutes just to continue on to the last breakout, which was about belonging. Now what? That was Martin and Sinas. Do either of you want to share anything that you guys came up with or noticed?
Yeah, thanks so much. We had and Martin, just pop in if you want to. We had a really good conversation. It was interesting. We had a different starting point, maybe. Like I feel I'm still like kind of like searching for belonging a lot, like in the groups that I'm in. And like, how do we co-create it? And how do we have shared purpose? And how do we let go of shared purpose? So that was a really like very fruitful and exciting exchange on that level. And we came up with quite a lot of directions. We started with like reframing a bit the title, for example, like belonging. Why does belonging matter? For example, like what is the core introduction of that term, at least, like what does it relate to Microsolidarity? And then also like Martin had the funny phrase of like belonging, so what? Like also like what's the big deal about belonging? Like kind of really look at it like from the eyes of somebody like encountering this whole way of looking for the first time, let's say. Do you want to pop in? You're muted.
Yeah. So I originally came from, okay, we have a cohesive group that is kind of bonded together by trying to achieve some shared purpose. And yeah, Sinners helped me to put it on its head and said, no, if we have belonging, we don't need the shared purpose, because basically we get enabled to all follow our individual goals and dreams just through the support of, we have a network where I'm being accepted however I am and whoever I want to be. So this, yeah, it can either create the cohesion or it can just support individuality, and the playing with that tension might be interesting. And to also, like I wrote this down, this shared vision or individual goals, or both, discuss and remember that all of these are right, as in you get to choose however you want to use this. I think that's yeah, one that kept me thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And then we also talked a lot about
Yeah.
like the loneliness, and then the questions of like supporting others versus accepting support. So a lot of this kind of like you know, like capacity of in the group of helping each other, of supporting each other. Is there understanding? Do we actually know when someone needs support? And then this goes into like the question also, like, okay, so you have belonging, and then what about power? Like, what about this formalizing these relationships to make them kind of like put them like out of the like unspoken territory to like actually like start talking about them and start seeing kind of like what are the things that really work, where do we want to like kind of have more of, and like what are the things that might make it tricky. And so like all of these things kind of like came up in this question. And then yeah, one thing that I thought was interesting is like using the source compass as a lens, because I feel like these are like the four quadrants of the source compass, like hosting, listening, deciding, authoring. Swapped around a bit, but anyway, just looking at those elements, like, okay, what if you, so you have belonging, you know, like kind of like how do you catalyze the belonging in different situations, in different directions through these these ways of being.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. I definitely find that gives me some thoughts about, okay, how can we tweak it? And it's great to hear how it lands and what kind of ideas and sort of thought process it brings up in each of you for each of these stacks. Yeah. Very nice. Okay. How much have we got? 15 minutes. Michal, do you think we still got time for the fun bit?
We have all the
The
time
next
in the
bit.
world. We can make
Great.
more time if we want. Easy peasy.
Can you make a card out of that?
Of course. Well, I can literally do that. So basically, you might already get hints, perhaps, in your soul of what's the next step. But the next step is inevitably making a card that you can add to the deck, because DIY is the way to play. So the invitation is grab a piece of paper, the digital world. The digital world has its limitations that cards transcend. And if you have a card-like piece of paper, well, then you get a golden star from me. If you have a not card-like piece of paper, you still get a gold star. And the invitation is for you to make a card. You have 3 minutes to make that card. So I know it's not a drastically gargantuan amount of time, but it's, you know, still possible. So the idea is take this time to add something to the deck, something that you would feel would be useful to have there. It can be really anything. You can make a drawing, you can write, there are no rules. Something that would fit in some ways. And then you'll get an invitation to just briefly present the card, and we'll take like screenshot style, and or you can dump it to the Miro board if you wish. If you don't, it's also okay. There's no pressure. Like if you don't want to make a card, you can also just ignore my request to do that. But it's an invitation. And who knows? Maybe some even will get printed, potentially. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't. Okay, so you have 3 minutes. You have 1 minute, 11 seconds left. All right. Time's up. And now this is like a tiny little snippets. Hopefully you'll spend much more time adding some really cool cards to the deck. But for now, it's your chance. So if you want to share with us, just share away. Let's do it popcorn style. You don't have to go also. We have 8 minutes and there's still some other stuff we want to do. So maybe a couple of people can share their cards. And you can do a brief intro if you want. Who wants to start?
Go ahead, Franca.
Okay, thank you.
We can hear.
I actually made two because I got inspired. Just to answer that question or kind of start thinking about things that the secret vibe agent could do, just giving some practical suggestions. So I came up with two different options. The one has
Show us
within it. Okay. I don't know if you can read this or if it's mirror image.
It's good.
Got it.
Perfect.
Can you read them or you want me to read them out?
How about you read them out?
Okay. So the one is approach someone at your gathering and ask either question A or B. Question A, if you had to ask me a question, what would it be? Or B, if I had to ask you a question, what would you like me to ask you?
Mm.
Love it.
That's
I see
the
some
one.
resonance.
And the other one is, would you enjoy showing me a movement that your body would really like to make right now?
Nice. Love it.
Thanks, Franca. Awesome.
Anybody else? Show us your best cards.
Yeah,
Sure.
oh, yeah, there's already cards.
Oh, yeah. What does this say? How do we avoid becoming a
crusty cult? Love it.
That's so good.
Love it. Love it.
Thanks, Silas.
Anybody
is
else?
that Pascal?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it here. No,
Yeah,
you
that's
cannot
it.
read it.
Yeah. The path of becoming
Uh,
and the path of
And the path of
belonging and something in the
belonging, and it's
middle.
actually something I became for myself aware of during the couple of days, that the path of becoming is actually growing into a larger and larger group, into crews, into congregations, and when you seek belonging and you are in a crew, it's maybe better to go to a diet and talk with somebody else, and eventually you have to belong with yourself. Yeah, of course.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Pascal. Great depiction.
This one.
Andre,
Uh,
let's see.
You probably can't read it.
What you got?
Create a refuge, a space for tranquility. Find a nice chill spot and start a tea party or a meditation jam or something like that. Like, I was thinking about parties which are like all intense and stuff. Some people would like to have a nice quiet space, but it's not often there. So maybe like do something to create it. Invite it. Like, this is a place which is a different vibe than everything else, where you can come and unwind, that sort of thing.
Awesome. I feel already transported into a different place hearing the birds in the background. It's like, yes, exactly. Just put on some different music. Thank you, Andre.
Nice. One last card. If anybody wants to take the slot, go James.
All right. It's in a sticky and a Miro board, so nothing to show. But the card is called Pick a Purpose. Pick a purpose with focus and specificity. The contents say, you may be tempted to, in your hosting adventure, choose a purpose or a theme that is broad and wide to try to attract as many people as possible. Instead, get specific to increase the depth of resonance, and you will find paradoxically that you will actually attract more people that way.
Awesome. Yes. Love it. Good prompt. I like this. I found it on the Miro board as well. It's fantastic.
Yes.
In the Grow Your Hosting
Now,
Capacity.
if you want, and if you figure out a way to do it, then feel free to upload your cards to Miro board. Like, take a picture and just add the image there. Would be super nice to see. We took some screenshots also, but you're more than welcome to add to the board, and then we'll have a look. Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah, I love that. It's in 3 minutes. Such a creativity. I'm glad we have the blank cards thing. We're thinking of creating a Telegram group, or we have created one for the card deck, so that people can. There's going to be a QR code to it, so anyone can upload their blank cards and inspire others who have got the card deck to see what else they come up with. So if it doesn't make it there into the deck, you can add it to the Telegram group. All right, we're going to wrap it up here because we've just got 3 minutes, and I just wanted to share a few network-related announcements and reminders. So yeah, really appreciated all your participation today, though. It's going to be really good to, and also like, how are we going to finish this? To like narrow it all in and finally get it to print, but we will manage. Cool. Anyway, in regards to updates and announcements, and we just dump a few links in the chat. One, just remember, if you have any questions or comments about this and you want to get in touch with anyone, like email microsolidarity@gmail.com. I will pick it up, or maybe Rich will pick it up, or maybe Jonas, and we'll make sure it gets to the right person. Might be an idea or a question or a suggestion. The newsletter comes out once a month, and you can get it via microsolidarity.substack.com. Feel free to add your submissions, anything of like something you've written, an event you're hosting soon, an offer, or like a wish for a crew, whatever it might be, a video you've made recently. I'll actually also add the newsletter content sheet so that you can do that. I need to think. I need to set it up for the new month ahead, but there it is. I think next one will come out at the end of June. So I'll set up this tomorrow, and you can add your pieces there. Telegram group is really rolling, and feel free to join via that link there if you want to add your local region and see if you can get some momentum by others in the network joining you in building something local to you or in your country. You can ask me to create a new regional group, and I can do that. And if you have other friends who might want to join these calls, they can do it by signing up on our Open Collective page, which I've sent the link to there as well. Yeah, and I guess, I hope many of you have seen that in the latest newsletter that came out last week or so, there was an exciting news that we have a date for the EU summer camp in Rich and Nanti's new place near Barcelona. It's really exciting. It's going to be the 20th to 25th of August, and there's going to be limited space because it's not that big. I think we can manage a maximum of 40 people. So we've put out an interest form, and you'll see the link to that on the latest newsletter. If you go to the Substack link, you'll find that there. It's the May newsletter update. And let us know you'd like to join, and we'll bring out more information probably in 2 weeks once we've gathered the team together again and figured out some finances for ticket pricing and like flow and all that stuff. And if you're in the US and you'd like to have a camp there, contact Sarah Bajor. It's also in the newsletter to let her know, because they do have a space at Elkin Mist for doing that in probably September. But I think they need a few more people to be like, or one person even, to just be like, let's do it, let's make it happen. So if that's you, reach out to Sarah, and I'm sure she'd be delighted to work with you and make it happen. And with Iwan at Elkin Mist, this magical, magical place there, which I hope to visit one day. Anyway, that's it for now. It's the top of the hour. So thanks for joining. Next month, we'll have Rick Benger, hopefully, talking about his project, and maybe someone else with a Q&A. So it's going to be a bit of show and tell and inspiration. Until then, lots of love, and stay in touch with one another. Bye. Feel free to ask yourself.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.